It's interesting to look at anything in its inaugural season or in its inception. And that's the case with Unrivaled, right? We're judging the first ratings. We're judging, how it looks in its first season. All these things. And that's going to come with good and bad. Let's lead with the good. I mean, a lot of players got paid. The one-on-one tournament was a success. Nafisa Collier has looked great. Angel Reese has gotten attention. There are plenty of positives for Unrivaled. Then there are the drawbacks, the negatives. There have been injuries, which was, guaranteed. There's nothing they can do about that. But I think they're going to have to learn how to adjust in the future going forward, considering lack of availability and player health having to have been put paramount, even at the expense of what appeared to be games at times. And then there was, Sabrina Ionescu, who, according to reports, got the biggest bag to go to Unrivaled. And I don't know if they got their money's worth on that. It's not really Sabrina's fault. She had her prior commitments, but it never felt like she made her imprint. And now her Unrivaled season is already done. But you live and you learn when you're a new league. And that's been the case with Unrivaled. So let's look at I'll start with the bad news, I suppose. What I just said about Sabrina. She is done. She will not be returning to Unrivaled for the Phantom. I mean, I'm trying to think of a standout moment, but a lot of the talk around Sabrina was regarding the fact that she wasn't there. Remember when the NBA had its Paris games, and I think it was Paris Fashion Week. She was there then in Paris and not at Unrivaled. She wasn't there for the one-on-one tournament, and her team was no good. So Sabrina, along with Angel, probably the two biggest stars there. And I don't know if Unrivaled really benefited from her presence in the way that maybe it felt like when she initially signed. And perhaps, part of that was they didn't get Caitlin Clark. So feeling a need to bring in other big names in order to help boost the league. Kelsey Plum had also backed out. So maybe there was some pressure around that. But and again, it's nothing against anybody. I get why Unrivaled did it. And Sabrina, made it clear before she agreed what the terms were. There's no, nothing shady going on. I just don't know if they got the ROI they really would have wanted from Sabrina there. And then there's all the injury issues. I mean, again, one game was canceled abruptly earlier in the year, and there was no specific explanation given. It said that, player health and safety was put paramount. I get the sense it was because, they just want to make sure they have enough available bodies so that they're not putting other players at risk. And then you've had a bunch of injuries. Lainey Hamilton is done for the season. She was already a relief player herself, and now she's done for the season. And I don't know how that's going to affect the New York Liberty. Kate Martin has been out with an injury for a while. Kalia Copper has been out with an injury for a while. Marina Mabry missed most of the Unrivaled season with an injury. So that was unavoidable, but maybe they have some thought to the roster size or construction going forward, how they navigate those issues. Because, obviously you can't have injuries, but you also have to have a functioning league. And then there's, the cost benefit analysis, because the more players that come, the more players you have to pay. And that's business, right? So there's those aspects of things, which I don't think were great for Unrivaled. But then there were the things that did work out for Unrivaled. I mentioned the one-on-one tournament. That was a big success, I believe. The NBA is considering adopting it. Nafisa Collier shared that winnings with their training staff, by the way. Nafisa has proven to be everything she's sold to be in Unrivaled. Other players have gotten attention. Again, Angel Reese, I believe, has had some nice standout moments, which I've highlighted. Chelsea Gray as well. You can sort of see that connection at Unrivaled developing. Not that it matters going forward, but still look, a little dump off from Angel in full court. Nice to see Angel, handling the ball, like I've said. Chelsea Gray seems to be rounding into form. So a lot of little moments like that from various players. Some exciting game winners. The action has had some exciting moments for sure. Then there is Brittney Griner had the first dunk in Unrivaled history. I don't like to make too big a deal out of this sort of thing just because whether or not women are dunking doesn't really matter to me. I'm not Shaq in that, but still was the first dunk in Unrivaled history. Angel had the first ejection in Unrivaled history. All the firsts are going to make some waves when they happen. And there was a little moment after the game where Lisa Leslie, who was the first player to dunk in a WNBA game, talked to Brittney Griner about being the first player to dunk in an Unrivaled game.
For you guys finally to have your core team together. The dunk was outstanding and it's historic. And obviously, I know what it's like to have a historic dunk. Not the ending you want. The night I dunked, we lost that game too, so I know what you mean about remembering that. But just talk about that is a historic moment for you to be the first to dunk in Unrivaled. It was awesome.
I mean, it is. It definitely, like, when I sit down and think about it, it definitely is. I mean, I'll be able to hold that. Got to do it with you here as well. So, I mean, that was pretty cool too, honestly, when I take the time to think about it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then he's here too. So, it just all kind of lines up. You want to say something? It's not sterilized though. But yeah, no, you're right. Definitely historic moment. I'm glad to be able to hold it. So I'm gonna try to get another one next game.
And just know we are so happy to have you here at Unrivaled and see you playing. And you're not just back, you're back and better. And just you warm our hearts, even though we don't get a chance to say it to you enough. That it's just great to see you to be able to finish out your career. And good luck in Atlanta.
Thank you.
Lisa Leslie, obviously a broadcaster at Unrivaled. She worked with Angel. She worked with Aaliyah Boston. I heard her mention that on the broadcast as well. And what's interesting with a league or anything that's doing it for the first time, there's no precedent to measure it against. So how do you determine what success is, right? I would say success is that they have another season and they continue and become an institution in the offseason. We'll see how that all works out, because I can't say some sort of ratings metric is a success or not in their first year. We know they've gotten a lot of sponsorship deals and the like. But as I've said, I've been rooting for Unrivaled. I actually have a vote in the postseason awards for Unrivaled, which is cool. And I'm a little skeptical about the way a lot of people talk about it, because I don't think they approach it in good faith at times. Or there's both ways, right? Like, some people are going to oversell just because they want it to look great, and other people are going to approach it in bad faith because they want it to fail for whatever reason. I that ain't my deal. So that's why I just wanted to provide some good and bad Unrivaled updates.